Hello and welcome to FUTube. First up tonight, it's Lachlan.
So I wanted to get in touch with the bank. I've been on the line waiting to talk to the CommBank for
Sorry, Lachlan, I'll just stop you there because we've actually got another FU from Garry, so if you wouldn't mind just holding.
So when is a transaction in Australian dollars an international transaction? I've been trying to work out who's to blame when a company you're buying from clearly displays on the invoice that all prices are displayed and charged in Australian dollars, but you still get charged an international transaction fee by your credit card.
Interesting question, Garry. Wouldn't you agree, Lachlan?
Here I am, still waiting.
I'll take that as a yes, and thank you for your patience, Lachlan. We do value your inquiry, but I'll just pop you back on hold because we want to go back to Garry, who bought a domain name for a website from crazydomains.com.au.
Australia's #1 for domains and hosting.
And even though his invoice said
all pricing is displayed and charged in Australian dollars,
on his bank statement, Garry noticed a 2.75% Visa debit international transaction fee.
I think the company should process the transaction in Australian dollars if that's what they're telling me they're doing and refund me the transaction fee. So what does Australian consumer law say about that?
Well, Garry, it's illegal to make false or misleading representations about the price of goods or services. Crazy Domains should refund your transaction fee because the overall impression that crazydomains.com.au gives is that Aussie customers will pay Aussie dollars. Issues like this often happen with overseas businesses that run .au websites to attract Aussie customers. As it happens, Crazy Domains was founded in Perth. Its parent company is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. But these days, crazydomains.com.au is
a division of Dreamscape Networks FZ LLC Dubai. Mate.
And when Aussies pay this dinky-die Dubai firm by credit card,
our merchant facilities are domiciled at Nicosia, Cyprus. Cobber.
As an international business success story, they're as Australian as Rupert Murdoch. But no matter how far or wide their business structures roam, they still have to call the Australian consumer law home. Crazy Domains told us
that charge was not imposed by Crazy Domains.
And
every customer who uses crazydomains.com.au is taken to have accepted the terms and conditions.
But additional fees must be clearly disclosed at the beginning of the online purchasing process. And legalese in the fine print doesn't get Crazy Domains off the hook. Now, in some ways, Garry's situation could have been worse. The international transaction fee on his Visa debit card was 2.75%. It's often higher. At the bank you're on hold to, Lachlan, it's 3%.
Well, F you, Commonwealth Bank.
But it's often up to 3.5%. Garry's transaction was also for a relatively small amount. Surcharges on bigger purchases can really sting though. Take that painting on Garry's wall, for example. If he bought it online from an overseas seller, or the payment was just processed overseas, well, if we take the last auction price for a Velázquez, converted into Australian dollars, 3.5% can be a lot. Of course, when shopping online, it very much depends who you buy from. You can get a Velázquez from AliExpress for $138.60.
But you still have to convert that to Aussie dollars and probably pay a currency conversion fee.
We sellers have got to stick together though. So, on behalf of Crazy Domains, I say the banks are the ones who charge the fee, they should pay it back.
We think Crazy Domains is also responsible, but weirdly, that 17th century water seller has a point. ASIC says card issuers must provide clear disclosure to help consumers understand all circumstances where international transaction fees are charged. In 2016, Westpac refunded $20 million in international transaction fees to over 800,000 customers because it didn't disclose that Australian dollar transactions processed overseas attracted the charge.
Westpac? Damn it, that's where my credit card's from. Sorry, I don't accept credit cards for another 400 years.
Apple Pay?
Before buying online, check what the seller's site says about international transaction fees. And that goes for apparently Australian sites too. There's more information on the online shopping page of moneysmart.gov.au. It notes, for example, that some credit cards don't charge international transaction fees. Or you can check out consumer tips for shopping online generally at the checkout.tv/shoppingonline in memes.
Okay, can we move on please? I've been waiting in this line forever.
Lachlan, I totally forgot.
Surely there's got to be some minimum standards on call centre call times.
Well, the consumer guarantees for services in the consumer law say services must be provided in a reasonable time. Which actually reminds me of another F YouTuber. Sorry, Lachlan, if you wouldn't mind, I'll just put you back on hold for a tick.
I had some awnings installed in my home, and it was clear from very early on they weren't installed properly or even made properly. I complained for about a month, and still after a year they haven't come back to fix them, so I'm still waiting.
How long it takes for repairs to be done can be very frustrating.
You're telling me I've been asking for this dodgy painter to finish me since 1618?
When goods aren't of acceptable quality, the supplier must fix them within a reasonable time. As this guide to the consumer law says, what's reasonable depends on the circumstances. There might be circumstances where a year's delay is reasonable, but we don't think it is in your case, Tanya. Or yours, Lachlan. If repairs aren't done within a reasonable time, the consumer can get someone else to do the repairs. You don't need the original supplier's agreement, and you don't have to get more quotes. If the costs are reasonable, then the seller is liable for them, though realistically, you might need to take legal action to get your money back. In Tanya's case, the supplier says the awning repairs are going to be done at long last, and about time too. Speaking of time,
It's after 8 o'clock.
we'd better wrap up. The checkout is back next week with Factory Seconds. So again, thank you for holding, Lachlan. Hopefully we'll be back for another series and we'll be able to deal with your question more fully. But until then,
Combank, F you.
and good night.